on the pro side of this, and with no combine and the guys that don't get a chance to be at the combine and the pro day is really their day, and that's kind of basically the situation for everybody this year. How critical is this day for these guys, and from your perspective and in evaluating them?
Yeah, it's vital for them, and we take that seriously. So like that's why today we want to make it their day, and really kind of bringing those guys back and trying to make it as combine-like as possible without having to be at the combine. So everything that we structured today was to make that feel that like they were in Indianapolis. So yeah, it's very important, and we took a lot of pride in really showing off Michigan State and being able to show them what our players can do. I text the group and I said we have a fast track today, so it was good.
How can you kind of describe what it took to put this together this year when you got the regular players, the former players, and the scouts with what's looming?
Well, same with I think the consistent message, like our medical staff has been unbelievable. Like, I mean, we couldn't have done this without them. I mean, kind of going through a protocol, being able to have our former players here, the scouts coming from outside, doing it safely. And they put an awesome protocol. They worked with me. I tried to push as much as possible to get as much access as possible, so that they've done an awesome job accommodating us, making it safe for our players, making it safe for the scouts, making it safe for our staff and the competing players. So like they did an incredible job. And then obviously like the operational staff helped me incredibly by like how we did our signage, how we did the flow of everything through the building, making sure that we didn't interrupt kind of like our spring ball practice, and really just kind of made like two ships in the night of two kind of different events going on. It was really pretty cool to see. And I mean, there's just a lot of people like our player personnel and recruiting staff helping me with lanyards and setting things up. Like our equipment staff with the gear, making it specifically catered to every individual player, along with like the signage that's in all around the whole building, made it feel like there was a huge event going on today. The scouts, when they came in, had breakfast, and we had little cocktail tables where they could eat and had all this stuff. Like today was like their day. And then like the video staff, we had a whole army of Chris Plasters guys, like videotaping every single event, making sure that each guy will have their own specific cut up that we send to the NFL. And again, it's a lot of moving pieces, along with working with the scouts of making sure that once they're doing their bench press, we have two different angles. And then once they do that, they go into the weave, and then they do the broad jump. So there's just a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of different people that helped me today, like that made this day awesome. And just kind of knowing everything that goes on in a pro day, what helps with the scouts and make it smooth. I think we had a check-in time at 9:15 and we were done by 1. So to be able to be efficient with that, with everyone's schedule, with spring ball, I can't be more grateful for all those people that helped out today. I mean, they made today awesome.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Our next question will go to Chris Solara, the Detroit Free Press.
Hey, Scott, good to finally catch up with you here.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
I wanted to kind of, it's kind of partly with this and partly with the recruiting element and everything that goes along with the portal and all that. You guys are taking more of an NFL approach to things, and I would imagine that's kind of part of what today is. I mean, how do you kind of use that NFL approach from something like this and sell it backward to the high school kids or the prospects that you guys are trying to attract through the portal?
Yeah, I think it's been an interesting process dealing with the portal prospects. It's more of I kind of call it's like NFL for agency. I mean, it's more of a business decision more than a recruiting pitch. And you're trying to, they have made that decision to go into the portal, which is never an easy one. and for whatever reason, and you want to be able to give them a home that kind of fits their needs, and whether it's a 3-year transfer or if they have 1 year, and really be able to kind of have it's more of a business decision, and those guys want to be able to be surrounded with people that can handle their transition in a professional manner, and know like it's not just a recruiting pitch for a 17-year-old. It's just way different, and be able to use that experience of like post-draft. You have, when you do college free agents, you have about 15 minutes to sign 30 guys, and you have to be able to talk fast. You have to get to the point, keep them interested, and go. And that's where kind of this process is where when you, like a prospect goes into the portal, you're going to have 40 teams call you, and you have to be able to catch their interest in the first 2 minutes, and be able to sell the experience that Coach Tucker's brought into the staff on the NFL side of it. Shows them that we not only have been seeing guys that have been there, but actually have competed on Sunday, and really just showing them that, like, I really just say my job is to maximize your earning potential, period. And I think being able to show them how we do that in an efficient manner, and kind of show them what the steps we will take once they get here. And we have a specific plan for every guy that comes into our organization. I think that's what Coach Tucker does an incredible job of, is all 85 guys, there's a specific plan for those kids. And it's not just hey, you're going to come here and do this. Like, we're going to make a specific plan for every kid. And that's why I think it's rare. And it's not really selling anymore. It's educating them on, like, hey, this is how we're going to use you. And it's cool to be a part of that process and kind of use my experiences in the NFL here, because it's been a fun transition. It's more natural for me to talk about that when they're a little bit older, but it's been a really cool process.
And I know that it's been kind of a chaotic, crazy past year or so.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly when you were hired, but were you on to plan last year's pro day?
Yeah, so I got here actually the Wednesday before last year's spring break. So my first day was the Wednesday before spring break. So we were here for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We went on spring break. And then that following week is when we got sent home. So I was here for a total of like 8 days. And then I got back in my car and drove back to Ohio. And so it was obviously a crazy time. But it's one of those, I think you have to be able to adapt quickly. And I think at least my time in the NFL has taught me to, like, you have to be able to adapt and go and not really like wait. So like when Coach, the last week before we left, we had like a Friday meeting, and he was like, hey, I think we're getting shut down in 24 hours. We have to have a plan. And really, he was like, I need the plan tomorrow. So there was a group of us that were just recently hired that really you kind of had to go, and kind of just having the instincts of what he wants and all that stuff. And but yeah, so I had originally talked to that group last year when I first got here to set everything up, and got with all the operational people to set this up, and then canceled. So it was just one of those unfortunate things. So when I got to start anew, text them back this year and say, hey, you get to do it again. It's been really cool to kind of see, give them this opportunity, because they've earned it, in my opinion. I mean, they've given a lot to Michigan State, and it's the least we can do to be able to give them that opportunity to do that. And it's fulfilling to me. And I was telling Shaq, Antoine, and Naquan, like, I'm pretty hard on them, just kind of trying to be transparent with them. And I said, today is a smiling day. Like, you ain't gonna get any, it's all positive today. So it was really cool to see them. And they were all lighting up, and I thought they did a really good job today.
Thanks, man.
Our next question is from Mateus Ornelas in Timeout Brazil.
Scott, here's Mateus Ornelas from Brazil.
How you doing?
It's really cool to have the chance to talk to you. You have experience in other programs before getting Michigan State. And you're the first year, you already have this COVID bomb. Then probably wasn't in the plans for you or for anybody. But how was for you like have to deal with like all the players, the coaches, and in the first year? And how was for you all this process during the COVID? You already talk about like make everything safe, but how was for you like have to deal with all the problems of the coaches and the players and try to make the guys stay home and take all the precautions they have to take?
I mean, I think Coach Tucker, he just talks about behavior modifications, and really we've just really instilled that of like, we have to, we know what it will take to be able to play, be able to not test positive, and kind of eliminate kind of the outside distractions. And it does take sacrifice. And I think our players have done an incredible job of buying into that. And everybody today, like there was no negative test. They all got their test. We set a protocol that they had to have a negative test before they came in a certain amount of time. They all did that. They all knew what it would take to do that. So I just think this group has been resilient with everything that's been thrown at them. And it's just been cool to see that, like, when given an opportunity, like, hey, if we get to have this pro day, this is everything that has to be done, and they all did it. So I think the group has been awesome.
Thank you.
A couple more for Scott. We'll go to Colton Pouncey with The Athletic.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
So Colton.
So, I mean, just hearing you talk about all the details from this pro day, it really seems like this is sort of a passion project for you, especially given your background. So can you kind of explain why this process is so important for you? And, you know, maybe what do you want Michigan State's pro day to be, you know, the perception of this pro day to be for scouts and NFL circles?
I want it to be a destination place. We put a lot of time and effort into all the little details. I always say, like, I want Michigan State, when they come in, to be like a happy evaluation. I don't want it to ever be an angry evaluation. I want it to always be happy. I want them to walk in and feel like they're loved. Like it's just like if you're a doctor and the best hospital comes into Michigan State, you're going to roll the red carpet out. We're going to do the same thing with NFL scouts. And we've asked so much of the players to make sacrifices. We have so much of them to do to kind of buy into our message that I think it's only fair for us to really roll the red carpet out for them and let them have a chance to really put their best foot forward. And I think being able to know what the scouts want, to have it be efficient, because right now, like, so all the guys right now, they got their Chick-fil-A as they walked out the door, and they're heading to Kalamazoo right now. So, I mean, they're all literally I think there was 35 guys here. They're all being Kalamazoo this evening, checking into a hotel. So it's like, to be able to be efficient with that, to me is important, because I know when I was a scout, like, I knew, because you're tasked to go in front of an owner, in front of a GM, in front of the head coach, to really sell. You're the first line of defense, to really sell and be convicted about a player. And I always thought that when the doors were wide open for me and be able to, like, really interact and have full access, I wanted to fight for that kid more. And when I want to be able to give it to these guys, and I wanted to show the players that are currently on our team what the standard is. And with all the little stuff, like there's a lot of people that were probably think I was a little bit of a madman the last couple of weeks of just little stuff of, from the boards to the lanyards to, like, where we're, to the gear, to all this little stuff, and to how we're presenting breakfast, how we're doing all this other stuff. And to me, all those details matter, because they haven't been in a school for a year. So these coaches, these scouts, and a couple of coaches, like, this is their first time seeing us as a staff. And I want them to know that this is a standard, and then also it raises the energy in the room. It raises everything else. And, like, the players feel that, just like I heard Antoine saying, and then they can go perform their best. and then they can have a good experience as kind of as their final, somewhat of their final chapter here at Michigan State.
Our last two will be from Stephen Brooks and Paul from Spartan Magazine. We'll go to Stephen first.
Hey, Scott, good to talk to you here, sort of meet you,
Yeah.
I guess, however you term
Yeah.
that. Just to start off, how many would you guess pro days you attended as a scout during your time?
Oh, wow. The month of this month has usually been, it's kind of, it's a grind. I mean, you're going to three to four to five a week for about a couple months. So it's just really kind of everyone in your area. I don't have a specific number, but I think because it gets blurry at the end of the month.
Over 100, I guess, would you say? Around 100?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, I only asked that to say, curious if you take that experience to tell the Michigan State guys today, is there anything that maybe you noticed as a scout when you went to these things that the kids might not have picked up on or maybe aren't told in the training process? Just little things, maybe whether it's body language or this or that, or how you introduce it, anything at all that you picked up that maybe can help these guys that they might not have known that you have from your perspective doing that?
Absolutely. Everything, like you're being watched like a hawk by everyone, like at every point of every part of this day. I mean, essentially they are down in compression shorts and they have left to right and they have to squat down. I mean, it's pretty, you're in a pretty vulnerable position because you're getting judged head to toe. And I think just being able to know that this is an interview, the second you walk in, they see how you interact with, they wait and see how you interact when when you check in. Are you saying please and thank you? Are you saying all this stuff? And really just kind of educating them on that, and knowing like they end up dressing in our equipment room. We had a great setup by our equipment staff. So the scouts kind of could go in and out. Well, you don't know who you're talking with a friend, but then all of a sudden they're watching you, how you interact. Like, is this important to you? So just being able to just kind of have their antenna up and just be able to watch that part of it. How they handle, if they don't do as well they think they do, the language they use. It's not a locker room or a weight room. Like, there are 35 people watching you and judging you, and they have to give a report on, again, body language, every single thing. So I think just being able just to educate them the sense of urgency and the importance of it, and knowing that it's only for about 3 or 4 hours, just and kind of put your best foot forward and go forward.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Last question is from Paul from Spartan Mag.
Hey, Scott, thanks for taking the time. I wanted to ask
Appreciate
about Naquan, and when a guy has had kind of issues with his weight throughout his career, and he puts the effort that Naquan has to get his weight down to where it is right now, what does that, put on your scout hat for a minute, and what does that mean to NFL scouts, and does that mean more than maybe what he can do as far as bench press numbers or something?
I think it goes in. It's just a small part of the evaluation. It shows that, okay, hey, he had an opportunity to really focus on that part of his, I guess, nutrition and in his body, and obviously he responded well. I think it helps you kind of go into other questions to ask, just why was it easier for you to do this now, and like maybe it says, hey. Maybe if he has, maybe with more opportunities, more financial support, then it shows that he can surround himself with people to help him out with that. Shows him that he can focus and lock in to do that. I think it's positives. I think it's all positives, and it shows that when kind of putting his foot to the fire, he can really do it.
And what was your, just kind of as a follow-up, what was your kind of just a general impression of his pro day, and did he do a lot to improve his stack with NFL teams today?
Yeah, because I think you put on the Ohio State game. I mean, there's a lot of times where there's a lot of wow plays, and I think that was a general theme of a lot of scouts and the coaches that were Like there was a lot of wow plays, and that makes someone, and humans aren't, I mean, he's a different size human. Like you don't find those humans that are 6'3", 315 pounds. I mean, they're just tough to find. So he obviously is going to have a lot more intrigue and people kind of really doing research on that. I thought he did well. I thought his change of direction, being able to play well with lower pad level. I mean, I thought he did a good job. The coach, I think, was from the Lions who came in here and worked him out. He was the only one in the D-line group, so sometimes it's tougher because it tests your endurance, and then they want to get you tired, and it's a lot of mind games too, how you handle adversity when you get tired. And I thought he did a good job, and he looked good. He looked really good today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.